Now, oftentimes people ask me, well, is lucid dreaming natural? And there was a wonderful study by Ursula Voss in Germany. She went to a school that had school children ages 6 to 19. And of this 694 school children, she asked them, have you ever become aware within a dream that you were dreaming? Basically, she asked them, have you ever had a lucid dream? And then she interviewed everyone who felt like they had had a lucid dream just to be sure that it met the criteria. After all of this, they discovered that 51% of the students had already had a lucid dream. In fact, as I read the research, I realized that many more than 20% of the 8-year-olds had already naturally and spontaneously had a lucid dream. So again, no one taught them how to do this. No one explained it to them. It was just something that happened naturally on occasion in the dream state. And so this gets across the notion that lucid dreaming is natural and it just happens occasionally and spontaneously amongst the population. Now, people also wonder, well, is lucid dreaming very prevalent around the world? And so there's been surveys on this as well. There was a survey by Daniel Erlacher and others who surveyed college students and asked them, have you ever become aware within a dream that you were dreaming? In the USA, one class reported that 71% of the people in that class could report at least one lucid dream. In Germany, they would get numbers like 82% had reported a lucid dream. In Netherlands, 73% could remember a lucid dream. In Japan, 47% could recall at least one lucid dream. But what was interesting about this survey is not only did it show this kind of numbers of people having lucid dreams, it also showed that of this group, about 25% reported at least having one lucid dream a month on average. And so scientists consider that a frequent lucid dreamer. They're having at least one lucid dream a month. So it's a wonderful thing to have this kind of survey data that just shows lucid dreaming is natural, it's spontaneous, and actually it's fairly prevalent around the world. One thing that people always ask me when I go around the world giving workshops and lectures is, does lucid dreaming mean control? That you control the dream? And I don't think it does. In fact, I created a metaphor to kind of explain my feelings after 1,000 lucid dreams about how I feel about this issue of control. I wrote, the sailor does not control the sea, neither does the lucid dreamer control the dream. So when you think of sailing on the sea, you have to deal with the wind, the waves, the current, the condition of the boat, your skills as a sailor. You have to deal with all of that. So the sailor really doesn't control the sea. The sailor responds to the sea. The sailor relates to the sea, but the sailor doesn't control the sea. And that's how it is in lucid dreaming as well. You can influence things, you can manipulate some things, but you don't control the entirety of the dream. So some of you out there have probably had a number of lucid dreams and might feel a little bit conflicted about that. But I want to bring up an idea. Let's say you became lucid tonight and you decided to fly through the wall of wherever you were. And then when you fly through the wall, on the other side of the wall, you see a castle and a white horse. Who created the castle and the white horse? You as the lucid dreamer just flew through the wall. How do you explain the castle and the white horse if you control the dream? So I bring that up just to say that in the lucid dream state, we're still relating to the unconscious mind, to that larger awareness. And if we're thoughtful, we'll realize that we're in this relationship. We can learn from it as well. But it helps to understand that lucid dreaming really doesn't mean control so much as more aware relating. You know you're in a dream, and now you can begin to relate to the contents of the dream. Also, many times people will ask me, does lucid dreaming mean the same as an out-of-body experience or astral travel? And so I want to get to how I feel about this. So remember, the definition of a lucid dream is you realize within a dream that you're dreaming. You see something or notice something or experience something within a dream and realize, oh, this is a dream. I'm dreaming this. But think about out-of-body experiences. For example, a number of people report having these when they have a medical emergency, like a heart attack or a car crash. Suddenly they find themselves floating above their body, maybe looking at the doctors and nurses who are trying to revive them. And so where in that do you realize within a dream that you're dreaming? So that kind of condition is obviously not a lucid dream, it's something else. Or sometimes people will report as they're preparing for sleep, something strange happens. For example, they might begin to hear an intense humming or a buzzing around their body, or they feel this strange energy. And then often they'll report that, then they spontaneously find themselves looking at the bedroom from above the bed. So again, where in that do you realize within a dream that you're dreaming? Obviously, this is a different kind of experience, and the intense humming and buzzing is oftentimes a characteristic of some out-of-body experiences. And this feeling of a strange energy is characteristic of some out-of-body experiences. So again, while they might share some similarities, I don't really think of out-of-bodies, astral travels as the same as lucid dreams. It's kind of like comparing a house cat to a mountain lion. They both have a tail, they're both covered in fur, they both look like felines, but they're not exactly the same. And so again, within a lucid dream, you realize that you're dreaming within a dream. And out of body, of course, can be something entirely different that doesn't meet that definition. Now, all of this brings me to the point of what makes the scientific evidence of lucid dreaming a breakthrough. And I want to tell you why this scientific evidence is a breakthrough. You have to realize that the history of lucid dreaming goes back for many thousands of years. So, for example, in Buddhist dream yoga, they go to a 3-year dream yoga monastery to learn about lucid dreaming and how to connect that to Buddhist philosophy. Now, the 11th century Indian Buddhist yogi Naropa, he said that Buddhist dream yoga was one of the 6 paths to enlightenment. So they saw lucid dreaming as a very important technique in order to achieve enlightenment. Here I have an image of the Sufis, the whirling dervishes. In Sufism, for more than 1,000 years, there's been Sufi writers who have written about using lucid dreaming to connect to the divine. And then when you look at shamanic and native traditions, you'll find that for many thousands of years, they've been using lucid dreaming as a way of gaining information, as a way of communicating, as a way of accessing inner reality. So lucid dreaming has this long, for many millennial, expression and teaching in all of these groups, because they saw the value of lucid dreaming to connect with something beyond the physical world. Now, I also brought the image here of a Christian crucifix, because in the letters of St. Augustine, there is actually a lucid dream that St. Augustine reported was from a gentleman, a Christian in Carthage. So his name was Gennardius. And one night, Gennardius sees this radiant youth, and he notices this radiant youth, and then he wakes up. The next night, he falls asleep again, and once again, he sees this radiant youth. But now the radiant youth comes up to him and asks him, "Where have we met before?" And Gennadius realizes that, oh, it was in last night's dream. And then they begin to have a conversation where the radiant youth makes it clear that Gennadius is dreaming right then and there, that he's aware within a dream. And he asked Gennadius, "Are your eyes, where are you right now?" And he thought, well, he's obviously sleeping in bed. And the youth asked, "With what eyes do you see me now?" And that was an interesting question for Gennadius, because he wondered, in the after death state, or once a Christian resurrection occurred, how would you see? Because he had seen bodies deteriorate in the desert of Tunisia, and he realized that the physical body just completely and utterly falls apart. So how do we see when we're resurrected? And when he realized that he was looking at this radiant youth, he couldn't really respond to that question. But the radiant youth assured him that he would have a faculty of perception after he passed away or was resurrected. So in any case, lucid dreaming has touched all these religions, all these spiritual traditions, all these wisdom traditions in various ways. And the beautiful thing is, now it's been scientifically accepted as a way of perceiving and exploring the nature of things. I think what we'll learn as we go deeper into lucid dreaming is this, that lucid dreaming will be able to assist science in exploring the nature of the mind, the nature of the unconscious, and also the idea of the self.